G'day folks, Wren here, and it's time for October's TBRGate. You know, I kind of forgot how much fun, makeup is. This is a fun time. I thought I would just kind of dress up a little bit, as in, do the face, because it's spooky season, and I mean, how often in life can you wear this much black makeup and kind of get away with it? So, October is a busy month, but before we get into October, let's go through September's TBRGate. Now, I may be a little bit kind of bending the rules again, but I am filming this a little bit early, so I have a chance to finish some books, but let me just go through the gate address for last month, and then I can tell you what's going on with it. So our first glyph for September was the Daedalus variation, and the prompt for that was skull pick, and for that I ended up picking the Vampire Academy. Now, as of right now, I've got maybe 4 or 5 days left of the month. As of right now, I am 84 pages into Vampire Academy. I'm definitely not going to finish this by the end of the month, I know that for sure. So I think I'm going to class this as done enough for the prompts. So this one, I'm stretching the rules, but I'm going to kind of count it. Then our next glyph was Defiant One. That's a standalone. The book I picked for that was Clap When You Land. Again, I have read some of this. I'm on page 114. I do plan on finishing this one by the end of the month, for sure. So I will definitely be finishing this. So I'm counting this one also as complete. Then the next glyph, the episode, was Grace Under Pressure. And the prompt for that is water themes. So for that, I read Deathbed, and I have finished that. I've returned to the library now, so I can't show you. But I did read that, gave it 5 stars. It was so good, so interesting. Highly recommend. Then I had a Chevron pick, and the character card I ended up picking was Acustus Collier, who's always a bad guy, but we kind of love him. So the prompt for him that I picked was male author, and for that I decided to read The Two Towers by J.R.R. Tolkien, and I did read this. I think I only gave it 4 stars. Yeah, I only gave it 4 stars. It wasn't as good as the first. Then the next glyph, the episode was Duet, and the prompt for that is LGBTQIA+ rep. And the book I read for that was Radio Silence by Alice Oseman. I did finish this. I had a really great time. Really want to reread it. I ended up giving it 4 stars, and just Alice Oseman is very quickly becoming like, almost like a comfort writer for me. They write amazing stuff and really, really heartfelt. And I got another Chevron pick, and for that one I picked Daniel Jackson. We love Daniel Jackson here. And the prompt I picked for that was A Bisexual Mess, which basically just means a pretty cover. And the book I picked for that was Skin by Avita Weiss. And I just finished this yesterday, and it was a good time. I ended up giving it 3 stars, but like a very high 3 stars. It was short, it was a little bit sexy, and just a really interesting world that like I really want to read more into. Then the next glyph that we got, the episode was Echoes, and the prompt for that is Spooky Vibes. But the book I picked for that was Creepy Cat Volume 2, and I did read this, and it was so much fun. I put in a little clip in my Bookoplathon vlog. Go watch it if you haven't already. And I showed like my favorite page of that volume. It's hilarious. I really love it. Everyone go read it. It's such a fun time. Did I already say I gave it 5 stars? Because I gave it 5 stars. Then we had another Chevron pick. I had so many Chevron picks last month. Oh my gosh. And the character card I got for that was Hermioid, and the prompt for that I picked was an ebook because he's a technician. And the book I picked for that was Just the Two of Us by Carrie Green, and I did read this. I ended up giving it 4 stars. It was so cute. So cute. Really loved the friends to lovers dynamic and this little town that's really cute. Then I landed on the free space, which is fun for me. So for my free pick, I decided to pick up Soul Eater Volume 13. And of course I gave that a 5-star because there was a whole bunch of Black Star and Tsubaki in that one. For the last glyph for September, the episode was Harmony, and the prompt for that is middle grade or YA fantasy. And for that, I decided to pick up Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor because I'm doing a read along. And I'm only 28 pages into this. I'm definitely not going to finish this by the end of the month. I'd like to get a little further of the way through this because I am enjoying it. But I'm still going to count this as read. I'm stretching the rules, I know. Trust me, at some point in this series, I'm going to get a whole bunch of hive ships. So you'll see them eventually. So for October, not having any hive ships, and I'm going to have another ZPM. Don't worry, this good luck is not going to continue, and I'm going to try and not stretch the rules as much as I have been lately. So the readathons happening in October, there's so many. And I really did plan on participating in like all of them. But that's not really feasible because I have a lot of uni work to do. I am in the final semester of my bachelor's degree in archaeology and I need to get some stuff done. I'm just going to be chill with the readathons. I will mention a bunch that are happening that I wanted to participate in. So we have Blackoween, which is a Halloween themed readathon but by Black authors. Then we have Camp Crystal Lake, which I will be doing a TBR for because that's kind of the one I'm most able to fulfill. Then we have Spoopathon, which I can't even make a TBR for because the prompts are getting released each week of October, so you can't make a pre-planned TBR. So we'll see if I end up participating in that or not. Then there is the Dewey's 24-hour readathon. I do have a plan for this. And there is the Indie Accords. The Indie Accords are doing a seasonal or a quarterly readathon. So the one going from September to December is obviously currently happening, and I'm planning on doing all of my reads for that in October because I am on the Dark Path, which is a focus on horror, thriller, spooky books by indie authors. Then there is the Read Like Hellathon on Instagram. I have participated in this most years, but this year I looked at the prompts and I'm like, I can't really fit any more books on my TBR. Then there is, of course, the Monster Mash happening over the Halloween weekend. It's, again, a fun time, but I don't know if I'm going to participate because lots of books already. Okay, now on to the October TBRGate. Alright, so we are doing the October TBRGate. So from the month before, I had a ZPM, but as of right now, I have actually started any remaining books on my September TBRGate. So I've either finished all of them or I've at least started any that are left over. I'm going to consider it complete so I don't need to put down any hive ships. That would then technically mean that I get another ZPM. So I'm going to put it down, but when we come back for November's, if it turns out that I didn't actually get any further into some of the books, then I might take that off. I'm not sure. For September, we left off on Chevron, so that is where we will start for October. Alright, so spin number 1. 7. Ooh, we got Earth. So the episode for Earth is Doppelganger, which is a fun time. And the prompt for that is nighttime themes. That's pretty perfect timing because we're going into spooky season. So the first glyph that we landed on was Earth, and the episode for that is Doppelganger, and the prompt for that is nighttime themes. Doppelganger is a fun episode. It's really like nightmare-ish because everyone's having nightmares about John, and it's fun, and my McShep heart just soars because John's greatest fear was losing Rodney. Anyways, the book I decided to go for this prompt was Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Alston. This has been one of my most anticipated books for a really long time because it sounds like something I would really like. It's like paranormal investigations with kids. That sounds fun. Everyone describes this as Men in Black but paranormal, so that also sounds fun. And this has got such good reviews and everyone that's read it has really loved it, so I'm very much intrigued to read this. Okay, spin number 2. 16. Oh, we got a Chevron. Alright. Okay, let's see who we're gonna get this month. Really hope I don't have as many chevrons as I had last month because it was a lot. Alright, should we go with this top one? Alright, who have we got? We got Dr. David Parrish. Not that you can really see that. Okay, and then I landed on a chevron. So the character card I ended up picking up was Dr. David Parrish. So the prompts that I had for Dr. David Parrish was all the plants. So to have plants on the cover because he is a... What is a plant doctor? Botanist. He's a botanist. Yeah. The next prompt for him was It's Queer in the Fandom, which is an LGBTQIA plus rep book. Cause yeah, he's definitely queer in the fandom and I support his ship. It's a cute one. I like it. Then the last prompt for him is Long Way From Home. And the prompt for that is Out of My Comfort Zone. Now, I kind of wanted to be really sneaky and like really clever this round. So for this time, I'm going to use all 3 prompts for one book. I'm not reading 3 books for this, just one book that has all 3 of the prompts. So we're going for a book with plants on the cover, a book with LGBTQIA plus rep, and a book that's outside of my comfort zone. And you know what? I found one. I really did. So the book I found that fits all 3 of the prompts is Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. There's plants. She got some vines going on there. It's LGBTQIA plus rep because from my understanding the love interest is bisexual, so there we go. And it's out of my comfort zone because it's a fantasy. And if you've been around on this channel for a little bit, fantasy is not my vibe lately. So it's gonna be a struggle to read this, but I'm gonna give it a go. I honestly have no idea what it's about though. Let's figure that out. Ooh, okay, so this has libraries in it, which is fun, and an old grimoire is released, or like lost or something, and maybe the main character has to try and find it? I don't know, but it sounds like it could be interesting. Alright, spin number 3. I think that's mostly on 10. Gilton. Ooh, yes, one of my favorite episodes. That is the Defiant one. So that is a standalone. Awesome. So the next glyph that we got was Gilton, and the episode for that is the Defiant one, and the prompt is standalone. This is a prompt that comes up all the time. I swear, like, Gilton is one of the most landed on glyphs that I have, because I am always getting standalones. which is good. It means that I can get through a bunch of books. The Defiant one is one of my favorite episodes because they are stranded and there's something chasing them, and they've got to be really resourceful with what they have because there's no help coming. I mean, there's technically help coming, but it's like, what, 15 hours away or something? So the book I chose for a standalone was The Historian by Elizabeth Kostova. I have had this on my shelf for a while and I keep thinking that I'll like unhaul it, but I'm pretty sure there are vampires and that's a mood. Yeah, I don't know much about this, but it piques my interest as an archaeologist, like of someone who likes histories and like looking into it, because that seems to be what's happening here. This person's relative dies, and I think it's a she. Yeah, and she has to like delve into the past of her family history within a library, and there are vampires. Alright, spin number 4. 4. Hamlinto. Ooh, okay, so the episode for that is Midway. That's a fun episode. I really need to rewatch that. I haven't watched that in a while. The prompt for that is BIPOC dominant. So a cast mainly made up of BIPOC characters. So the next glyph we landed on was Hamlinto, and the episode for that is Midway. So the prompt is BIPOC dominant. Midway is a fun episode that I desperately need to rewatch because it's just fun. We have this whole like stranded vibe, which I really like. So we've got Ronan and Tilk. So that's always fun that like Tilk shows up again and he's got like longer hair. It's a vibe. But it is them two stranded on the Midway station with a whole bunch of Wraith coming in. And so it's like the two most badass warriors of SG-1 and Atlantis coming together and like fighting together and just being badass boys, and it's great. Such a good time. But the prompt is BIPOC dominant because it is one of the few episodes where it's really just focusing on two people of color and not the rest of the white cast, which if there are 3 things I could change about the Stargate series: more people of color, more women, more queer stuff. But we can't all have a perfect world. So the book for this that I picked was When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole. This is a book that will fit into Blackoween, and it's kind of a horror thriller, more of a thriller, and I think it's about people going missing inside this like apartment complex, but I think it's just the black characters that are going missing, and it's stuff to do with like gentrification. I really don't know, but it sounds interesting. Alright, spin number 5. 2. Robinus. Ooh, okay, so the episode for that is Hide and Seek. I watched that episode so much. Good times. Anyways, the prompt for that is Dark Cover, which again, perfect time for spooky season. So the next glyph that we landed on was Robandus, and the episode for that is Hide and Seek, and the prompt is Dark Cover. Hide and Seek is like the 2nd episode or something in the show, and I really love those early episodes because, again, it's kind of like a stranded vibe because it's just the people on Atlantis. There's no help. They haven't made any connections yet, really. So they're still trying to figure out what's going on in the city. And because all of the Athosians are in Atlantis, some things get opened that shouldn't be. And then they have a mist like creature that really likes energy and is super, super hungry. So there's a lot of black mist everywhere, hence the dark cover prompt. So for this, I am choosing Death Note, the Black Edition. This is the first volume. I have read like halfway, so I've read the first volume of Death Note, but I haven't read the second one, so I will just be reading this second half. This is very much a vibe right now, like this makeup. But yeah, this is a manga about this boy that finds a death note, and a death note is kind of like a blank journal that if you write down someone's name, they will die. And these notebooks are held by the Shinigami, who are Japanese death gods. The Shinigami that lost his notebook comes down and just kind of follows light everywhere, just to see like what he's doing with the power that he has been given. And the first volume was really good. I really thought it was interesting how when you give a good person ultimate power, even though they want to do good things with it, that power can corrupt you. And it was really fascinating, and I really love the Shinigami. Like, the looks of that Shinigami are everything. Love it. Right, spin number 6. 3. Arami. So Arami is the very first episode of Stargate Atlantis. So that is Rising. And the prompt for that is very obviously start a new series. Kind of not what I wanted to do this late in the year, but you know what, we're just gonna roll with it. And the next glyph we landed on was Arami, and the episode for that is Rising, so naturally the prompt is start a new series. Rising is such a good episode. It's a good pilot episode, I would say, because it introduces you to all of the characters and they have like a really good dynamic, and then just them being in this whole new world, and especially John not knowing anything about the Stargate program at all, suddenly being thrust into alien races and other planets, other galaxies. Like, it's fun. Starting a new series, not exactly what I wanted to do towards the end of the year. I really am trying to get through some of my series, but we got to do what the board says. Luckily, there was one series that I did want to pick up this year and I haven't yet. Unearthed by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. This is a sci-fi Indiana Jones type situation. It's just a duology, so I'm really hoping that I can just like smash this out within the last couple months of the year. But I am really intrigued to read more of Amy Kaufman's writing because I really, really liked the Aurora cycle that she did with Jay Kristoff. So I want to see what this one is all about. And as an archaeologist, I am always kind of intrigued of treasure hunts, you could call them, honestly, because Indiana Jones is not an archaeologist, he is a treasure hunter. Let's get that straight. But there seems to be like aliens or alien races, and then these people trying to find artifact things. I don't know, but it sounds like it could be a really fun time. Alright, spin number 7. 12. Sandovi. Oh, we're really prominently in the first season for this month. The episode for this is Childhood's End, which is a really fun episode. And the prompt for that is middle grade. So the next glyph we landed on was Sandovi, and the episode for that is Childhood's End. So naturally, the prompt is to read a middle grade. Childhood's End is a fun episode. It's just this planet that has only children, and there's this ritual of sacrificing yourself on the eve of your 25th birthday, because this culture believes that that is how you keep the wraith at bay. It's a very interesting concept, and I do really like seeing all the other cultures that get explored in the Pegasus Galaxy. So the book I decided to choose for this is the second Lockwood & Co. book. I really should have looked up what it was called before I turned on the camera. So, you know, I don't know anything about this book, let alone what the title is, but the second in that series. I read the first one at the beginning of the year, I think, and it was really fun. It was a lot like spookier than I expected it to be, because, you know, I just thought it would be a fun middle grade, but it was a lot more serious and kind of dark, and I really liked that type of vibe. It has interesting characters, and I like that it's like paranormal investigation. You know, I love that. And this is again one of the series that I wanted to continue on, and I haven't yet this year. So looking forward to that once I figure out what it's about. I'm so well prepared for this video, aren't I? So great. Okay, what will hopefully be our last spin to get our last glyph for our gate address. 10. Subido. The episode for that is Reunion, and the prompt for that one is cultural diversity. And then the last glyph that we landed on was Subido, and the episode for that is Reunion, and the prompt for that is cultural diversity. Reunion is an interesting episode. I wouldn't exactly call it a favorite, but it's a really good episode. Like, Ronan finally meets some more Cetidans, and that's awesome, and they were his friends, but they're a little brainwashed. It's a great episode, but very sad. So the prompt is cultural diversity, and I was trying to figure out what I could do for this. I ended up picking Never Open It, the Taboo Trilogy by Ken Nimura. This is a manga, and I think it's short stories-ish. Yeah, so there's 3 short stories in this, and it's all about is it Japanese mythology? Yeah, so there's Japanese folktales. Folktales is a cultural thing, and I'm really excited to get to this. It reminded me of like Pandora's box, because they're like, here's a box, don't open it. So obviously someone's gonna open it. But yeah, like, there's not much I can tell you about this. It's like, but listen closely, no matter what, you must never open the box. And like, I don't mind the art style. So taking inspiration from the tales told to Ken Nimura as a child and combining them with his unique and captivating art style. It's a beautiful, must-read graphic novel for fans of beautiful literary comics. I don't know, I'm hoping it's going to be a little bit spooky, because it sounds like it could potentially be, but it might not be the real dark thing that I was hoping for. Okay, so this is the TBRGate for October, including When No One Is Watching and the second Lockwood & Co. book. Okay, so now I've got all these books. I'm then just going to go through what I will be reading for Camp Crystal Lake. So for each team for the Camp Crystal Lake readathon, there are 5 prompts for each team, and then you can also steal some prompts from other teams to up your points for your team. I'm not going to go through any of the prompts that I will potentially be stealing. We're just going to go through the 5 prompts for my team. So my team is Team Haddonfield. Fun times. The group book for Team Haddonfield is My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. I'm really excited to get to this one. It sounds fun. And then the movie we'll be watching is Halloween. But anyways, for the prompts. So the first prompt is Halloween colors on the cover. Now for this, I decided to use one of my books that I'll be reading for the Indie Accords, and that is The Worm and His Kings. It is, I don't even know. I think it is queer, which is awesome. I love being able to find queer indie books. And it seems to be about this person's wife goes missing and they're trying to find her. But then there's something about like worm in the sewer system, maybe. Honestly, I really need to look up what books are about before I turn on the camera. I do definitely consider like the greens and purples to be Halloween colors, especially when they're like together, and then with all the black as well, like it gives me Halloween vibes, so we're doing that. Okay, then the second prompt for Team Haddonfield is to pick a book in the dark. So it says in the dark. I'm not going to turn off all of the lights, but what I did instead is I made a spinner wheel. So I made a spinner wheel, I made it black and white. So what you're supposed to do for this is to pick a book in the dark out of a choice of 6 books. So 3 books are books you're interested in and 3 books you're not interested in. Okay, so the white spaces are books I want to read and the black ones are ones I don't as much want to read. But I am interested in reading all of these. So for the want to read books, we have Uzumaki by Junji Ito, which is a horror manga. We have Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, which is a classic horror. And then we have Blood Thinners, which is a queer vampire-esque story. Then for the ones I don't want to read as much, we have Hangman by Jack Heath. This is a FBI story with potential cannibalism, not sure. We have A Psalm for the Wild Built. I do want to read this, but I am wary about it being emotional. So that's why it's on the not so much one to read. And then we have The Seep, which is a kind of like a horror thing. I do kind of want to read it, but it sounds weird. Like very weird. So I'm a little bit cautious. So we're gonna spin. Oh, I am nervous. All right, let's spin. We got The Seep. Okay, that's all right. I was kind of interested in it anyways, and at least it's an audiobook. So there we go. I'll be reading The Seep. I don't know anything about it. From the little bit that I read, it seemed to be something about something spreading, or like birthing, spreading. I don't know. Again, I don't super want to know what it's about. I'll just read it and figure it out as I go. Then the next prompt is face on the cover. So for that, I'm going to read Death Note because there's a face. So then prompt number 4, we have a 5-star prediction. Now I was tossing and turning about what I wanted to read for this, but in the end, I decided to go Will My Cat Eat My Eyeballs by Caitlin Doughty. I've had this on loan from the library for like 2 months now, and I just keep not reading it, but like I so want to, because it's a bunch of questions that like kids have asked a mortician, and then she answers them. So like, will my cat eat my eyeballs? Things like that. Like, it just sounds fun, but like with also the creepy element because it's talking about dead people. And then the last prompt for Team Haddonfield is a book featuring something supernatural. So for that, I decided to go for the second Lockwood & Co. book. The first one had like supernatural themes, and there's also like this, is it like a skull in a jar? Or a head in a jar or something, but it's like magical. There's some type of like supernatural elements in the series, and they're also investigating the supernatural, so it fits. I really wish I knew what that book was about. So that was all I was going to read for Team Haddonfield. I will put up a graphic right now that is, this is going to be my Indie Accords Dark Path TBR. There's a whole bunch of them and they're all very short. They're all short and they're all super spooky. We've got ghosts, we've got creatures from someplace, we've got cannibals, we've got psychological twisted stuff. I don't know, but all of these books are indie published. Okay, I also just quickly wanted to let you know the vibe that I'm going for the Dewey's 24-hour readathon. This is kind of the vibe. Oh, that's upside down. Okay, this is the vibe I'm going for. Manga. And these are the kind of creepier-ish ones that I have. I do also have like 15 more, but you know, I'm just going to show you these ones. So we have Uzumaki by Junji Ito. It's a horror about a town infected by spirals. I'm really interested to read some Junji Ito, so hopefully that's good. We have Coyote Volume 1 by Ranmaru Zaria. But that's like werewolves and shifters, so fun for me. That's my favorite thing ever. Then we have 2 volumes of Soul Eater, my favorite manga of all time. And then we have 2 volumes of Jujutsu Kaisen, which I read for the first time last month. So, oh, those are all like occult vibes things. But yeah, this is kind of what I'm going for the 24-hour readathon. Anyways, that is it for October's TBRGate. It's a lot of stuff. And honestly, not as much creepy vibes as I wanted. But, you know, I did a creepy makeup, so that'll make up for it. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Please let me know down below, what are your spooky reads for the month, because I need some more recommendations, honestly. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on my next one. Bye.